Toll. Jetzt muss ich diese ganze Scheiße nochmal ertragen, Alter. Das Ding ist, irgendwann ist auch Schluss, ne? Man kann sich auch nicht die ganze Zeit verstecken, so. Ne biçim yapmışlar. Das muss ja irgendwie auch eine plausible Erklärung geben, so. Und das muss irgendwie Sinn ergeben. Warum man sich versteckt und so. Im Nachhinein ist man eh immer schlauer, natürlich.
Die Chance, dass wir überleben.
Daran will ich gar nicht denken.
Nein!
Leg sie weg hier! Los, los, los, los, los!
Wir müssen
Genau!
Oh, shit!
Yani, die wollen damit sagen, sie ist die Heldin. So, die muss das machen, hä? Ich hatte aber nie den Eindruck, dass sie die Heldin ist.
Ruhig. Keiner bewegt einen verfickten Muskeln.
Die haben voll selten mit der gespielt. Von der Liga. Aber wenn ich hier schon was falsch mache, ist schon vorbei, ne? Das ist krass. Diese letzte Szene ist auch in den Totems 0 beschrieben. So wie early. Okay, der erste hat sich schon mal versteckt. Mike retten. Oh, okay, nicht mehr. Die zweite. Ciao. Verstecken. Guck, hier verstecken. Bug gidiyor. Dann auch nochmal verstecken, Mike gidiyor. Netzwerk oldu. Weiter geht's. Aha. Ya sen git. Ama şalteri açmasak. Salak. Hele şükür. Hele şükür. Aber das war letztes Mal die letzte Szene, Alter.
Ich sehe da etwas. Es scheint Überlebende zu geben. Gut, wir gehen runter.
Ja, spätestens hier. Boah, quicklebendig Trophäe erhalten, Alter. Boah, ich habe so viele Trophäen erhalten. Kein Tod für Jessica Trophäe erhalten. Sie leben alle Trophäe erhalten. 4 Töchter, die leben erhalten.
Der alte Mann,
Ja.
ich kann ihn gar nicht beschreiben, ich meine.
Sie sagten, Sie hätten sich von ihm verfolgt gefühlt. Hat das noch jemand aus Ihrer Gruppe gedacht?
Naja, ja.
Hat ihn vielleicht diese Person getötet?
Was? Nein, nein, Sie verstehen das nicht. Glauben Sie,
Hat er Sie angegriffen?
er hat mich gerettet. Und ich habe ihn sterben sehen.
Das war Jessica. Ich weiß nicht wie oder warum sie da unten war, aber ich weiß, ich habe sie gehört. Er hielt sie mir direkt vors Gesicht. Hierhin, direkt vor meine Nase, und er hätte schießen können. Er hat mich fast erschossen, der Penner. Ich meine, da geht man ewig lange mit einem Kerl aus und glaubt, man kennt ihn, aber Mann, der schießt echt den Vogel ab.
Ach ja, öyle bir totem vardı. Hatırlıyor musun?
Und ich hätte etwas tun können. Ich wollte ihr ja auch helfen. Ich war nicht gut genug.
Für wen oğlum? Hepsi yaşıyor.
Ich wurde getragen und geschleift.
Was konnten Sie sehen?
Ich weiß nicht. Ich weiß nicht.
Er ist voll durchgedreht. Wollte uns was antun. Und ich hielt ihn für den Angreifer von Jazz.
Er war doch mein Freund. Nachdem seine Schwestern verschwunden waren, haben wir oft geredet. Er sagte, ich wäre die Einzige, die ihn versteht. Ich dachte, wir ständen uns nah.
Wenn Sie mit jemandem reden wollen.
Danke, nein.
Manchmal nach einem traumatischen Erlebnis.
Ich sagte doch nein. Ich habe zugestochen und ich wollte weglaufen, aber ich wusste nicht, ich schwöre, ich wusste nicht.
Wussten nicht? Wen haben Sie verletzt?
Na, es war der Psychopath und ich wusste nicht, dass es Josh war und er war es aber und ich konnte nicht wissen, dass Josh all die Sägen und die Waffe hatte. Oh mein Gott. Kommt die Dumpfbacke jetzt dran? Verpassen Sie mein paar für mich?
Wie bitte?
Dumpfbacke, Mr. Muskelprotz, Matt, der Depp vom Dienst.
Ist da vielleicht etwas, das wir wissen sollten?
Oh nein, nichts von Bedeutung, bloß Sache. Wissen Sie, dass er mich an dem einstürzenden Turm einfach zum Sterben hat hängen lassen, dieser saublöde
Alakası
Waschlappen.
bile yok. Wir haben die bis zum Schluss versucht zu
Ihre
retten.
Freundin Ashley, sie sagte, sie wollte Ihnen helfen.
Nein,
Sie sagte, sie hätte Sie rufen gehört.
nicht mich.
Ja, das waren die Wendigos.
Mike,
Was wissen Sie noch?
er hat mich gesucht. Wirklich.
Sie gesucht?
Wo ist er? Hat er überlebt? Sie müssen mir zuhören. Es ist mir egal, ob Sie mir glauben oder nicht. Ganz egal, denn das werden Sie. Sie müssen runter in die Minen.
Was ist in den Minen, Sam?
Ich habe gesehen, was dort ist. Und ich würde
Gitmeyin oğlum o zaman.
vergessen.
Krank valla. Was ist mit Josh passiert? Josh'u görmedik. Coşkun. Da kommt bestimmt noch eine Szene, oder? Überspringen, da basarsan. Genau, ja, hier. Oder? Der ist auch zu einem Wendigo geworden. Kimi und oder?
Dort unten ist etwas.
Haben Überlebenden gesichtet. Ein Überlebender. Wiederhole.
Ist das?
Oh, fuck.
Zurück! Nein, nein, nein! Zurück!
Krank. Boah. Was war das letzte? Sam ist entkommen, Mike ist entkommen, Mike ist entkommen, Ashley ist entkommen, Emily ist entkommen, Chris ist entkommen. Yeah, wir haben es geschafft mit fairen und sehr einfachen Mitteln. Josh erfuhr die Wahrheit über das Monster, Josh erkannte Hannah und Hannah erkannte Josh. Josh war am Leben, gefangen und ein Kannibale. Krass. Hätte was anderes passieren können auch? Oder wäre er einfach nur gestorben? Emily drängte sich an Ashley vorbei und brachte sie in Gefahr. Die haben ja ohne gördüm. Das habe ich schon gesehen, Alter. Mike ist Jessica erfolgreich nachgegangen. Jessica lebte noch. Jessica überlebte bis zum Morgengrauen. Dass die so einen extra Schmetterlingseffekt hat, in der steht, dass sie noch lebt, zeigt, dass die am meisten in Gefahr war. Voila. Ich glaube, bei der Dings, die ist bei voll vielen gestorben, glaube ich. Und dieser Matt. Weil man die am wenigsten gesehen hat, auch im Spiel. Aber ich muss sagen, wenn man es so zum Dings ersten Mal oder so spielt, ne, unmöglich alle lebend am Leben zu lassen. Wie viele Dings haben wir hier? Hier, ich habe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Totems vergessen. Von 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 mal 6 ist 30. 24 Totems habe ich gefunden. Immerhin, Alter. Hier diese Hinweise. Ich hasse das, wenn das so leuchtet. Neuer Söhr. Tschüss, hier sind noch mehr, Alter. Aber wir haben schon auch viele gefunden, ne? Jetzt wissen wir auf jeden Fall über das Spiel, dass man am Ende sich so lange verstecken muss, bis es nicht mehr geht. Mann. Hier, das ist aktualisiert worden. Der Wendigo in der Mine hatte genauso eine Schmetterlingstätowierung. Steht hier. Der Wendigo in der Mine hatte auch ein... Ja. Das ist dasselbe Medaille, das in der Mine gefunden wurde. Hier steht auch aktualisiert. Ein Porträt der Washington-Zwillinge, das muss ein paar Monate vor ihrem Verschwinden aufgenommen worden sein. Hannahs Tätowierung ist identisch mit der des Wendigos. Da haben andere Drohnen. Also Thema und so schon geil, ja, muss ich sagen. Tattoo war doch wichtig, ne? So, jetzt blinkt das hier. Bonusinhalte. Trifft die Besetzung. Weißt du, was mich mal interessieren würde? Wie man eine Szene macht. Bakalım mı? İzleyelim mi? Ich weiß nicht, wie lange das geht.
Hi, this is Lee Robinson, production designer on Until Dawn. The production design for Until Dawn started with the great teen horror script that sets the characters in a Canadian winter mountain lodge, being a contemporary setting with visual clues derived from classic films of that genre, such as Hitchcock's Psycho and Stanley Kubrick's Shining. The storyboards are vital to the production design as it allows the designer to understand the scale of the environments to be made and the detail that would be seen to create the atmosphere of a horror. This took us into concepts that took these storyboards further, visualizing the world through the color palette, the lighting, tone, and the mood, and developing key locations such as the lodge, the cable car stations, the forests themselves, the wilderness. As you can see, the environments and atmospheres change quite a bit from warm and inviting to cold and threatening. The Millionaire's Mountain Lodge was a key example. It was designed to be made from nearby stone and timber, embedding it into the landscape, with a contrasting and contemporary interior needing to be opulent and extravagant. We created dark and claustrophobic corridors with ominous and large open spaces, almost cathedral-like in size, and with huge structures to silhouette and dwarf the characters within, providing a labyrinth to explore and wander. Each character was developed with a strong visual identity in mind, with contrasting colours, tones and silhouettes to identify them, each to have their own texture, pattern and shape, so that when they were lined up you could always identify them. The costume designs allowed a range of clothes that would suit them for the cold winter weather, but also have an element of style and individualism, so that the audience could look at them and relate, recognizing themselves within them.
A lady would like to cuddle up with her man by a nice cozy fire bathed in atmospheric mood lighting.
Right. It'll get plenty toasty.
Ey, wir hätten das wirklich auch auf Englisch spielen können, ne? In letzter Zeit bevorzuge ich das voll. Diese Leute ben İngilizce izliyorum artık. Ben İngilizce biliyorum.
This required a thorough understanding of the visual language of teen horror.
Ich finde das gerade voll langweilig.
All the characters emerge out of the rear of the lodge chasing Hannah. A contrast is evident straight away from the exterior wilderness to the warmth of the lodge. The attention to character lighting here is through the bounce and rim lighting, accented colors and composition.
Soll ich was anderes anmachen?
Characters that come from the dark
Oder findest du es
into the light
interessant
back
gerade?
again with an emotional effect.
Guys, there's someone outside. What the hell?
Trifft die Besetzung. Meet the cast.
I am Hayden Panettiere, and we are here at the studio recording Until Dawn.
Oh, die hat richtige Tine. Rami Malek, oh
My name is Brett Dalton. My name is Antonella Lentini, and I played Hannah.
Krass.
My name is Jordan Fisher, and I play the
Schöner
character
Magler?
Matthew, Matt for short.
I'm Nicole Bloom, and I play Emily in the game.
Ey, krass. Wie ähnlich das ist aber, ne?
Steinman, and I play Ashley.
So Until Dawn is the story of 18
Bester Mann, Olo.
revisit this cabin in the woods about a year later after a really traumatic experience where I've lost two of my sisters, so coming to kind of get some closure in that respect.
One of the things that Larry does really well is make these multi-layered characters, and I think for just the story in general, it follows the
Ach, die spielt Hannah und Beth.
horror film plot lines.
Die hier.
The characters are so unique in themselves, and I think that's very cool.
Krass, ne? Also ich finde das gerade voll beeindruckend.
Get everyone together on the anniversary. I mean, Josh seemed really pumped about us all doing something, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he definitely did. I haven't seen him so excited about something in forever.
Good, good. Sam and I have a few things in common, such as being huge lovers of animals, and she's a huge animal lover. She's vegan. She is a pacifist. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna go as far as saying that I'm a pacifist, but she's spunky and cool. I know that she, I think, is made fun of a little bit by the rest of them who think that her morals and her beliefs in that area are a little ridiculous and they don't agree with them, but she doesn't care. It doesn't stop her from being herself, and that's something that I hope I have in common with her.
You know, he definitely can be depressed at some times and a bit of a loner, but he takes some solace in one of his sister's friends, Sam, played by Hayden Panettiere, and invites everybody back to the same house the next year to kind of find some closure.
Jessica is... she has a
Fully
whole lot
bitch.
of personality. She is definitely the sort of mean girl character that, you know, at school she knows she's pretty, she knows that boys like her, and she's going to use it to her advantage.
He's got a big heart, and you can tell that that's very evident, especially how he treats his girlfriend, Emily, and, you know, he's kind of a meathead, but in the best way possible.
She really knows what she wants, and she manages to get that from whoever it is, whether it be Matt or Mike. You know, she's really driven, and I can definitely relate to that.
My character is Chris, and he is what society might consider the nerd of the group.
Also, Rami Malek ist hier einer der, was für einer der berühmteste von denen, also der auch was
She's a little
würde
more
so.
serious than some of the other girls. She's definitely very intelligent
Der ist
and
am
thoughtful. She's
Star
kind of
unter denen, ja?
picture of things. She's not quite as geeky as Chris, but they connect in a lot of ways.
Mike is like big guy on campus. He's
Boah, die sieht wohl alt
the
aus.
class president who has some charm and has brain, and I don't know, people seem to like Mike. He gets away with a lot though. He can be kind of jerky.
Boah, der ist locker
He just
40.
kind of wants everyone to be happy. I mean, he's a people pleaser, and I can definitely attest to being, you know, that guy. I'm always the friend that wants everybody to be happy and wants everybody to be taken care of, and that's definitely Matt.
But also, like, this character is just so fun. I rarely get to play the bitch, and so it was really fun to do that.
The spirit of things, seriously, what's wrong with you?
Just trying to lighten the mood, Em. Don't be like that.
Like what?
The way you're being. You always get like this.
I just think this is just the coolest thing to be a part of, and I just think it's going to take the world by storm. I really do. I think this genre is the wave of the future, and I think that once people see the potential behind it, of getting to interact with the drama that you're witnessing unfold in such a realistic way, that this is how entertainment's going to be from now on.
Geil, Alter. Möchtest du noch etwas gucken? Irgendwas? Die Wissenschaft der Angst. 1000 Seiten. Die Musik. Von der Bühne zum Bildschirm 1. Von der Bühne zum Bildschirm 2. Was zum Teufel? Ihn zum Erwecken. Zum Leben erwecken. Willst du irgendwas gucken noch? Sen de gör.
My name is Will Biles, Executive Creative Director of Until Dawn. The first part of getting a believable facial performance in-game is to capture topographically the actor's range of emotional expressions as separate versions of the same head. Every tiny nuance gets digitized and merged, effectively creating a model that can recreate every facial movement that the actor makes. Once the topography has been recorded, the actor's performance itself can be captured by using a predetermined set of marker points drawn precisely on the face and a high-def helmet cam, wirelessly linked to capture devices. The camera is the small box where it looks like the microphone should be.
Outro Sam. Mark.
It records in high def the movement of the dots throughout the
Boah, ist das ein Lauch, Alter. Muskelpaket.
Unlike other systems, this form of capture is far less lossy because there are fewer interpretations between performance captured and performance rendered finally in-game. The audio is also recorded via two separate lavalier mics attached to the helmet. It takes a while for the actors to acclimatise to carrying around the recording devices and the helmet cams, but very soon the shoot becomes similar to any other effects shoot or a green screen shoot. The actors in these scenes are only recording facial, but use cursory body movements for pacing.
Wait, and maybe we should all stick together and find everybody and make sure they're all okay, so...
1-1, the year before the prank. Take 2, Mark.
Other than the other actors, they have to
Geil,
use their
Alter.
imagination for everything and everywhere that they are supposed to be seeing and feeling. From a hot midday studio in Los Angeles to a freezing midnight mountain in British Columbia.
Geil. Die müssen so richtig Schauspieler nutzen, ja, das ist schon heftig, ne?
Because Until Dawn has a dynamic, ever-changing story, the facial performances and the body performances are recorded separately, with different systems. With the body capture, we use reflective bead suits and an infrared camera matrix system that drives the CG bone hierarchies in our character models. These performances cover everything from character locomotion, scene-specific performances and stunt work, most of which was recorded at studios in Pinewood and Shepperton, near London.
Hannah! Hello?
Combining all the elements seamlessly in the final game becomes a formidable editing and
aussieht da
logistical
nix.
task. Every variation,
Komisch.
both physical and emotional, must be combined in these multi-edits. Scaffolding props have to stand in for the sets, because the hundreds of infrared cameras have to be able to see all of the reflective beads on the actor.
Was zum Teufel?
America's Northwoods border region. Within this land of 10,000 lakes and miles of dense timber, a hideous creature is believed to lurk.
The Northwoods is probably one of the last frontiers in America. There's still a lot of places in this area that hasn't been set foot by man. Monsters and mysteries exist here because it is remote.
Up in the Northwoods, winters are long. In times of biting cold and isolation, a devouring monster is believed to come forth. It's terrorized native people for generations.
Growing up, I was told, like, don't go outside, the Wendigo will get you.
Among the traditions of the northern Algonquin tribes is the Wendigo, a monster that can seize hold of a person to carry out its hunger for human flesh.
Many Native Americans fear even talking about this Wendigo, and even the mention of the name will let the Wendigo find out where you are, and it will open you up to be possessed by this Wendigo.
Ja,
The
toll,
most famous
Alter.
case of a Wendigo possession
Niye izliyoruz bunu şimdi?
was in 1879.
İlla bir vahre begebenheit olacak.
In the deep woods outside of Edmonton, Alberta. Swift Runner, a Cree Indian, was a trapper and a guide. He had left town the previous autumn with his wife, 6 children, and his mother. But when Swift Runner returned in spring, he was alone.
Swift Runner came into a nearby village telling this heartbreaking tale.
I had to watch them starve to death.
Of his family being killed by starvation, and that he was the only survivor.
My whole family gone.
It wasn't hard to understand a family falling victim to a brutal winter.
To even not.
Yet something was suspicious about Swift Runner.
He was a strapping man, and he came into town weighing over 200 pounds. It didn't look like somebody who had just weathered a terrible winter. He wasn't malnourished, didn't look like he was starving. He looked healthier than ever.
After a few nights, it became clear that something was wrong.
He started having night terrors, screaming in his sleep.
I am the Wendigo.
villagers alerted the police.
Swift Runner actually guided them back to his winter cabin. When they got there, that's when they saw the true horror. Human skulls were scattered around. Many bones, some of which had been snapped in half, and the marrow inside had been drained. They had never seen anything like it. Swift Runner had killed his entire family, shooting them, hitting them with an axe, strangling, and then eating most of their bodies.
Right up until the moment the noose was on his neck, Swift Runner swore the evil spirit of the Wendigo had possessed him and twisted him into a cannibal killer.
When he was on the gallows, Swift Runner himself said, "I am no longer a man."
Willst du das auch noch gucken? Natürlich.
Just move over there. Go on, move. Let me say what I came to say. I'm here to tell you what you're up against being back on this mountain. You should never have returned. I don't know why you did after what happened last year.
You mean with Hannah and Beth?
Yeah, how could you know without being involved?
I don't take kindly to you kids coming up here to my mountain.
Your mountain.
The mountain don't belong to me, it's true. But it don't belong to the Washingtons. This mountain belongs to the Wendigo.
Hi, this is Lee Robinson, production designer at Supermassive Games. Understanding the ancient myths of the Wendigo was key for their development that helped the visual look. Through sketches and concepts, these elements were visualized, such as eyes being milky, almost dead, with loss of lips and eyelids due to frostbite, fangs growing and arms and legs getting longer, with skin hardening and thickening to look snarling and menacing, yet withered and lean.
The hell was that? Another fucking piece of...
Fingers and toenails extending like claws, allowing them to climb effortlessly. We made them look gaunt and weathered, and having ragged remains of clothes they wore. Blood-stained and rotten, with patches of hair still remaining, they retained strong skeletal limbs, which enable them to be agile and quick through the environment.
Where are you?
My name is Jamie Gallipo, animation director at Supermassive. The overall direction on the creature was to be very strong, to be extremely fast. We wanted a spider-like movement to the creature. 1 minute scampering to leaping and then crawling, almost instantaneous. And finally, we wanted the creature to have this real, uncontrollable thirst for flesh.
From a sound design perspective, the Wendigo is a real challenge. For the main vocalizations of the Wendigo, we used our own vocalizations, various different animals from the exotic to the farmyard, various plugins and processes to gel these sounds together and keep a human resonance behind that voice, telling the backstory of the Wendigo. During the chase sequences, the anger of the Wendigo is felt by encircling breaths, screams and screeches that essentially chase you as you're being chased by the Wendigo. We would layer them up in a multitude of layers, sometimes 15, 20 sounds playing at the same time, to build up the vocalizations for this fearsome creature which is always in attack mode, hyperactive, and chasing you throughout the game.
Heftig. Geil, ja. Und das war's mit Until Dawn. Wir haben es geschafft. Wir haben es geschafft.